Hey everybody, here we are with the Kehoe. This is the match I was talking about in my last video. Platooned up with Serb and Jelly. Serb's in his Kehoe as well, Jelly is in an SU5. So we have ended up in a tier 5 match on Serene Coast. There's two T1s and a KV, plus two T14s and a T34, and an SU85 and a T67. In short, there's a lot of tanks that are going to be problematic. But we're in Kehoes, so we can do this. Now I believe I do have at least one video up of the Kehoe already, maybe more. This tank is just really good. It's a tier 4 light tank, but it gets normal matchmaking, not scout matchmaking, so the highest tier you'll ever see in a Kehoe is 6, and it will happily carry a tier 6 match. Although it lacks armor like pretty much every Japanese tank in the game, it has excellent gun depression, a very good gun for its tier. It's tiny, so it's really hard to hit, and it has good camo, and it's actually quite mobile. As you can see, it gets up to 50 kilometers an hour and climbs shitty terrain pretty well. Its traverse rate isn't bad either. To start with, I head west, as I traditionally do in my bigger tanks. So crests the hill first and spots a bunch of shit coming our way. Looking for shots I can get in early. Something takes a shot at me, but I'm able to get one into the T46 without taking a hit in return. The T1 is under the bridge, it seems, and the DW2 and T34 are camped out in the rocks where the tank destroyers usually are. The T34 is a huge threat to my team, so I'd like to try and get some damage on him and discourage him from sitting there. Unfortunately, I start getting hit by him and the DW2, so I pull back down the hill. I was able to get a hit into the DW2 and I think one blind into the T34, though I'm not sure if it penned or not. Serb just goes fucking berserk mode on the T80 and the T14, but unfortunately he loses a lot of hit points in the process, and although I come in to pop the T14, he does go down. He gets sniped by the S35, who is further back towards the southwest, I think. I have eyes on the DW2 and he doesn't appear to be shooting back, so I take the opportunity to take a couple shots before he does start firing back. I don't need to worry about my armor facings. I'm in a tier 4 light tank in a tier 5 match. I'm going to be penned no matter where I'm hit, so I may as well point my back at the enemy and be able to run in a hurry. About here I decide that fight's getting a bit fruitless, but the T1 Heavy is broadside to me, so I would very much like to get some shots into him. Now, I wasn't in time to save the Sherman, although I doubt I would have been able to save him anyway. Thankfully, the Kehoe's excellent camo and this T1's general badness are helping me out here. Obviously I was lit there. The T34 began firing at me again, but the T1 is oblivious. I was waiting for him to come back out from behind cover there. I expected him to charge at Jelly, so I was ready to cover him. Meanwhile, obviously I wasn't able to cover our T14 because I can't look two directions at once. East seems to be going alright. I say seems to. And it seems that the bulk of the enemy push is coming through the west. Now I know I've only got a very limited amount of time here before I have to either turn around and fight these guys or run away to the north. T14 goes down. The S35 actually takes it out, which is surprising that he was able to pen that thing. He's actually full health as well. So I get ready to take him. Now you notice I'm being pretty liberal with my gold shells. That is because in the Kehoe, in a tier 5 match, you do kind of need them. It takes your pen up from, I think, 89 or 90 or something around there to 128, I think it is. Which is respectable. It's slightly less than the Sherman 76mm gets at tier 5. I narrowly survived that engagement. Thankfully luck was on my side and I'm able to get away without being hit. The T1 actually left Jelly alone, went the other way towards our cap. The 3A should be in a position to spot him, but the 3A is shitting himself at the prospect of popping out in front of a tier 5 heavy, even though he does have full hit points and the T1 is almost dead, plus Jelly is pre-aiming it. The 3A just really does not want to go around that corner. And so it looks like it's going to be on me to spot the guy and maybe even get the reset, depending on if Jelly can get a hit on him fast enough. I was getting really worried at this point. Of course, I don't know what that T-34 is doing. He may have rolled up on my right flank at this point. Thankfully, he hadn't. So the 3A does finally spot the guy, and Jelly's able to get in the reset, and then I'm able to finish him off. I don't want to sit still because their RD is going to be out for my blood, and the little Panzer IV based RD that they have has a traversing turret and a relatively high rate of fire. This gun is the same gun that the Stug, Panzer IV, and anything else with a German 105mm derp gun. It's that gun. It's the same gun. So I very much want to avoid being hit by even splash from him because it will fuck me up. I am now the furthest west thing capable of actually fighting back, so Jelly begins running east to get behind me where he's got some kind of cover. Our 3A wasn't paying attention and actually thinks Jelly shot him. Fuck knows why. Situational awareness is too hard for these people, I guess. I was expecting the T-34 or the M2 to roll through. At this point I was actually kind of suspecting it would be the M2, since the T-34 seemed quite terrified to move out from his position before. I just sit and wait with my binocs up, trusting in the knowledge that most pubbies, even at higher tiers, let alone at tier 5, most pubbies don't have any kind of vision equipment. Most of them don't even have the right class of crew in their tank, let alone crew skills and equipment. Sure enough, I spot the T-34 before he gets any idea where I am, and then he thinks he can take cover behind the railway station. I don't know what he was doing here. I think he's shooting at the... No, he's not even shooting at me. He wasn't even shooting at the Matilda. I don't know what he was doing there. But either way, he fucks up colossally, and it allows me to finish him off with a nice little fire there. Probably hit him through his fuel tanks and into his engine, given the part of his tank I could see. Of course, I don't want to sit around at all, so I begin moving, trying to be a little unpredictable so their RD can't blind shot me. And I move into the bushes here behind Jelly. I don't want to leave him out in the open where the enemy can easily rush up on him and kill him, but at the same time, I need to keep my tank alive, and so I need terrain cover, hold down, and camouflage cover, these bushes and trees. And this is really great terrain for hiding a light tank. Of course, because I am a light tank, I can move without losing my camo, and so I'm happy to drive around here taking shots. Unfortunately, Jelly goes down. He gets counter-batteried after the T-40 spots him. T1 comes up. A couple of unlucky RNGs there, and then I'm able to take him out before he can get the Matilda. Their M2 does come up and finishes the Matilda off. Of course, I am one-shottable for both the M2 and their RD, obviously. The RD doesn't even need to hit me. And depending on which gun the M2 has, he might not even need to hit me either. If he's running the dirt gun with HE, it's entirely possible he could splash me to death with a near enough miss. Enemy T1 Heavy starts bitching up a storm about gold rounds. In this situation, I wouldn't. I could completely understand anybody going to gold rounds when they're in this kind of situation. Sorry, trying to get this a little smooth. And the enemy S-35 dobs me in. Yes, I have been shooting gold most of the match, but I think I'm allowed to, being in a tier 4 light tank and forced to carry my team so hard. I cut through the cap. I need to put the flank on this guy. He's probably still looking at my last seen position. So I move through here, keeping an eye on the corner just in case. But luckily he's camping behind a bush, not paying attention, and sure enough he did actually have the derp gun. Now instead of going straight into the water, which would have slowed me down and made me an easy arty target, I stay on dry land just long enough to get unspotted, before then finally moving into the water from a different direction. And the arty misses, that's why I did that. We've still got 5 minutes left, but I'd rather not waste time, so I begin carefully winding my way through towards the enemy spawn. I have no idea where that arty is, but I would like to find out. I've already earned myself a top gun and done about 1500 damage. I think I got at least one blind hit in. It is risky working your way through these back passages because they are so narrow, they're easy to set up a shotgun ambush on, but I really didn't see I had any other choice. Besides which, I was relying on my reaction time, hoping I'd be faster than the puppy arty. The fact he was still shelling towards our base where I was last seen made me quite confident that he wouldn't be ready for me. And so I just move in. Haven't seen him yet, which probably means he's way over the other side of the map. Now I'm not going to chase him when I'm this low on health. If I was full health even, I would probably not want to risk it. Enemy T1 heavy is wrong there actually. I've been very, very, very liberal with my use of gold rounds this match. So plenty of gold bullets, as he says. But I will definitely take credit for this being a good carry. I honestly, I don't really care if you have to shoot gold. If you manage to pull a game like this out, I'm not going to complain about it. But of course there's no need for gold with this arty, so I've gone back to AP. I decide to move into their cap. Solo cap time is 1:30, but I'd rather not waste my time and risk him coming back. The other potential hazard is him driving into our cap while I'm still farting around trying to find him, which would probably be a death sentence because he just shotgunned me as I come over to reset, assuming I even got there in time. So it's better to just get in his cap and force him to come back. Again, being a light tank, I can move around without losing camo. If you are trying to solo cap in a situation like this, if you were in a light tank, you can drive around. If you were in any other kind of tank, medium, tank destroyer, arty, heavy tank, do not fucking move. When you move in those tanks, you break your camo. When you move in a light tank, you don't. People I see driving around in the cap trying to be clever in medium tanks all the time. It actually gets them lit before they even have a chance at seeing what spotted them, and they usually end up dead. Arty's taking blind shots into cap, which makes me pretty confident. It means he's probably not quite on his way back yet, and so it gives me just that little bit extra time to get ready in case he does come back. His shots are coming from the northwest somewhere, so I have an idea he's probably not going to come up through one of the passages behind me. Although I do occasionally put my gun on them just in case. I stay as far back as possible. As you can see, there's a slight rise there where that bush and the tree are. That partially shields my tank, and also the distance involved helps a lot as well. I have camo paint, and there he is. Boom, rat. I wasn't planning on doing that, but I certainly wasn't going to complain with a 7-kill game and 16 or 1700 damage in a tier 4 light tank in a tier 5 match. That's really the strength of the Kehoe. It's just such a good all-round tank. It's probably one of the best tier 4s, if not the best tier 4. As good as the Matilda is, sometimes it's just too slow to carry. The Kehoe has mobility, it has an excellent gun, it has actually, you know, halfway decent view range. its camera is good, it's a small target. Really, the only strikes against it would be just its weak armor and its hit points. And I mean, its hit points aren't terrible for a tier 4 light tank, so even that, I don't know. But I have pulled off some pretty ridiculous games in it. It just seems to want to win. It's a lot like the Pershing, I think. It's a tank that really wants to get those wins, and you have to actually like struggle against it to throw a game. It's just so good. So I would definitely recommend getting one. The tier 3 before it as well, which I cannot quite recall the name of. I think it's the Kini, but I'm not sure. That tank is also pretty good. I haven't actually got one. Well, no, correction. I have got one. I haven't actually played it yet. I bought it just the other day because I had a bunch of surplus credits and some garage slots and decided I wanted another little low-tier Japanese light tank. But Serb has one and he plays it and says that it's like the Kiho except tier 3. So I'm definitely not going to turn that down. But good demonstration, I think, of one of the most underappreciated tanks in the game. I really don't understand why this thing isn't more popular. You don't often see them, and when you do, people usually don't seem to like them that much. This is just such a good tank. I cannot say enough how much I like it. And had I been in any other tier 4, I don't think I would have been able to pull this match out. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. I wish you the best of luck in the field. Hopefully you'll be able to get some monster carries of your own. Just keep trying, never give up, and certainly never listen to bad puppy advice. I'll see you next time.